And first thing is trying to improve. If the budget is not as positive as bottom up as it should be based on the top down projection. And the second issue is about negotiating. You have mentioned, of course, in the bottom up approach, there is an incentive to consider cushions. Cushions means to plan higher cost or to plan lower revenues in order to be safe in the plan actual comparison. So very often manager bonuses are based on the comparison between budgets and actuals. So the lower the budget profit-wise, the easier it is to get a bonus. That's the opposite with cost. So, and this is the negotiation part. For the top managers, they have an objective to reduce this budget slags because they want to pay bonuses based on real achievements and not based on air balloons. And then there is an approval. By the way, you find in many textbooks, strategic planning is a topic for top management, and operational plan, the master budget, is an issue for lower management. This is not my experience. The difference is that in the budget, in operational plans, all management levels are involved. While in strategic plan, it is an issue where rather top management and the strategic department of a company is involved and not the whole organization. But also, of course, the budget needs to be approved by top management, and in our case, of course, by the supervisory board of a company. So it's not only an issue for lower management. By the way, some empirical results. Interesting. Here, companies are compared with high profitability, medium and low profitability. And the question is about how to use the budget and how to discuss the strategy within the budget. And what you see is that high-performing companies have a more intense budgeting process than others. And this supports the idea of Max saying budget is an important issue for resource allocation and for the whole success of a company. We are coming to the master budget. Master budget basically is the revision of a financial plan based on operational numbers for one period. It's mostly 1 year. And it's about income statements, it's about a cash plan, and it's about balance sheets. And it's about the coordination between different departments. Usually, when there are no constraints, a budget is started by the projection of sales unit and sales prices. Because when you want to know how many units we shall produce in a manufacturing company, for example, then you first need to know how many units do we want to sell. So, sales comes first. Then, of course, production. But there are some factors to be considered in production, meaning ending inventories, beginning inventories of finished goods, and based on the production, you need to you need to plan the required headcount, direct labor budget, you need to plan for manufacturing overhead and for the materials. And for material, you need to plan how many units we need to purchase, what are required ending and beginning inventories regarding materials, and so on. And the results are cash budget, budgeted income statement, and balance sheet. In real life, of course, capital budgeting is done at the same time. Capital budgeting is about investments. So maybe we need to build a new plant. We need to purchase equipment, machines, whatever. So all capital budgeting is about non-current assets. Maybe we purchase intangible assets like the permission to use some plans or so on. So we can also use budget not only for tangible assets but also for intangible assets. Coordination and communication. Time period. Usual time period is 1 year. In my company, we did a more precise plan for 1 year, but then the whole period for the operative plan was 3 years. It's done differently from company to company. But what we should discuss here is budgeting for 1 year, and this is what is reflected in this picture, in this illustration. Now in autumn 2022, the budget for at least one period should be approved by the management. This is the period for 2023. But of course, you could make a plan which is a little bit longer, so you need to know for the upcoming years what are our projections. And then of course you can break down the budget for the upcoming year into quarters and maybe even into months. What we did was breaking down into quarters, so we knew about the quality of interim results when you have not a straight line allocation of your revenues and results, but you have seasonal effects in your budgets. And particular with regards to liquidity, with regards to cash, we have a rolling forecast. If you do only an annual budget in 2022, at the end of the year, you have the budget for the full year. You break it down into quarters, but the problem is when you come to the end of year 2023, you only see 1 quarter. So what you very often do, in addition to do a rolling forecast, where you have a constant period which you plan. And this means mainly you have 1 year from the starting point. Meaning, when you do the first forecast, forecast is an updated plan. During the next year, you do that usually within the first quarter, and then you say, okay, we should have a period for 1 year, knowing what is the result and what is the cash for 1 year from now. This means include first quarter 2024. And you do the same exercise in Q2 and in Q3. And in Q4, you do the budget again for the full year 2024. Oh, now it's up to you. We'll have a case. The case is based on these assumptions, but I have uploaded an Excel file which could assist you to do that. We'll do it together, this master budget. Here are the assumptions for our case. This is a diving equipment company. They have sales units for the upcoming month, 1,100. The selling price is set 240. And now it comes for production. They have a targeted closing stock for finished goods, 80. And they have an opening stock of 100. So remember, this has to be considered when it comes to production. Then there is a section for information when it comes to purchasing. There is 2 kilogram material required for 1 finished goods. There is a purchase price of 2 for 1 kilogram. There is also a desired closing stock. In percentage, it's 15% of the required material for next month production. And the forecast for next month production in units is 1,600. Here we have direct labor information, manufacturing overhead information, selling and administrative expenses information. And the task is to build up the income statement for the upcoming year. And let's start with the revenues. And you are invited to use the Excel file, which is uploaded on Moodle, because it leads you, it guides you through the whole process. When we start with revenues, it's easy, right? It's selling price times times budgeted sales. So how much is it? Go to Excel.
How much budget revenue for the month? Trở xuống không phải cái gì không? Cái này để mày điền đi. Sale unit là bao nhiêu? Sale unit là 1.001.
Got it?